Hello beautiful people. January is usually the hardest month for new games. You gotta impress from out of the gate. But luckily, for this year of 2026, we got a bunch of bangers. But before we talk about any of them, hi, I'm Wolfman Dan 08, and I love talking about indie games. And if you love them as well, why not subscribe? I try to release a video every week, mostly talking about games that are coming up and games that just came out. Now that that's out of the way, why don't you sit back, open up Steam, let's start wishlisting. Don't Stop, Girly Pop. From Funny Fintan Softworks, this is a game where it's all about spreading the love. So combat is based on never stopping to move, because the more you move, the more damage you do. And in a world where everyone's trying to kill you from a corporation trying to mine your planet, you need to do as much damage as possible to take them out. Looking at this title though, you might be thinking, whoa, this is a little too pink. And I just want to say, sit down, swallow your pride, and get ready to bedazzle your arms and your guns. That's right, the early 2000s are here, and if you never lived through it, now is the perfect time to experience when we all had some hope in our lives. Also, we put shiny things on everything for some reason. I don't remember. But if you're a fan of fast-paced FPS shooters, specifically arena shooters, then this is the perfect game for you. Because here, it's all about moving as fast as you can. Pathologic 3. The third title in the very subversive but also hard to really get into or parse series of Pathologic, Ice Pick Lodge have really pulled out all the stops here. If you're a fan of this franchise, this will be a perfect title for you to play. If you've never experienced the Pathologic games, then take a step back. I'm going to be real with you. I've tried the first one, the HD version, the original version, and the second game. Those games are hard, and there's a lot of elements you got to keep control of. I think I starved to death in the second one, and in the first one I just got sick and died. A lot of in-depth elements here to work with. You are a doctor with only 12 days to save a town from a mysterious plague. You're going to meet a bunch of strange characters, strange eldritch entities, but it's not a game where there's no method to the madness. Instead, if you pay attention and you talk to just the right amount of people and find out what's happening, you can find a very in-depth story here that will take you places you do not expect. And because you're a doctor, you need to investigate the people around you. Question them on their symptoms. Check out their bodies. Not in that way. And see whether they're telling you the truth or keeping something secret. And if that all else fails, get a gun, shoot everyone in town, and call it a day. Okay, actually don't do that part. Just try and play the game in a way where you can actually follow the story. Pathologic 3. Hard to get into, but once you get your feet planted in that world, you're never going to want to leave. Until you die from hunger, like I said before, and then you just kind of feel like, I need to take a break. Escape from Ever After. Here we have something a little bit more cheerful, thanks to Sleepy Castle Studios and Wing It Creative. Escape from Ever After is basically a Paper Mario-like, aping more from the very classical, much beloved 1000 Year Doors version, which I haven't played, but I have heard amazing things with. Sorry, I'm a sticker stars guy. Don't throw those bricks at me, please. You're going to fight against capitalism in the satirical adventure RPG when a greedy megacorp starts taking over fairy tales for cheap labor. You, as a newly hired storybook hero, need to climb the corporate ladder and fight back. Expect some beautiful visuals, the same Paper Mario style of 2D cutouts, which really fit with the Fairytale aesthetic the game's going with. But the main thing here is the combat, which takes a lot of elements from the Paper Mario games, where it's very interactive in timing your button presses, little mini games to help you do maximum damage, all those things that'll really keep you invested the whole time instead of just clicking attack and then waiting for the animation to finish. Great game, and if you're a fan of cute, fun little RPGs, then why not take the plunge? TR49. From Inkle Limited, we have a deduction-styled game where you're trying to parse through information in a World War II era machine. If you've played something like The Root Trees Are Dead, Her Story, or even Return of the Obra Dinn, you know the type of game this is, where you're getting small clues, trying to piece them all together, seeing if it fits into the gaps in the story you need, as you try and talk to this computer which needs certain codes. And you're trying to find the codes by going through all the archives that the creators of the machine have left behind, and also listening to your partner talking to you over the radio. These are all important things. So you're going to need to keep your ears open, and also your brain, as all the information you receive might be the last clue you need to solve this mystery before it all blows up. I don't know if it blows up. It might blow up. For those of us who like scratching our brain and trying to solve a big mystery, perfect game. Check it out. Quarantine Zone. From Bagada Games. Every now and again a game comes along that makes me go, oh, this got really popular quick. And Quarantine Zone is one of those. You're in command of the checkpoint in a collapsing city. You need to screen survivors, manage your scarce resources, and hold back the undead. Now, a lot of people seem to gel with this game, including some friends of mine I've watched stream it. And my only reaction is, this looks depressing. But also, you can bonk people on the head with a hammer, and that's always funny. If you're looking for a fun time as you try to sort out information, see the clues on the people that come in, and try and find out who's infected and who's not, as you try to keep the last of the survivors alive before they become overrun by the undead horde. It's just one of those titles you can find yourself sink in a little bit to and enjoy the atmosphere, the vibe, and the investigative elements. Yes, janky as heck, but also just as fun. Folklore Hunter. From Liquid Donkey Games. That's not a joke, that's their title. All jokes aside, Folklore Hunter is exactly as the name says. You are hunting various cryptids in the wide open spaces of the forests. If you played a title like Witch Hunt or Bigfoot Hunter, you know what to expect here. Explore the forest, check your map for locations, see if you can find any clues to where this entity or cryptid is hiding, and once you find them, just start blasting. And if you get a little confused or scared, grab some friends, get them to join you as you enjoy hunting creatures that shouldn't exist, and it's up to you to make sure the natural order is remained and they no longer exist in it. Check it out if you enjoy a fun little hunting title. One Turn Kill. From Den Den Games, One Turn Kill is a PvE card game where card drawing and deck control are the keys to victory. It's exactly as the title says, you have one turn to kill one enemy at a time. Prepare to engage in some fun battles where a single turn spells either victory or doom. I really like how this game looks. The visual style, the pixel art looks fantastic. Also the concept of you just having one turn per enemy, stressful, interesting, and needless to say, it's a nice shot in the arm for deck building games. And if there's one genre we definitely have more than enough of, it's them. So seeing something on Steam that actually tries a different approach to the genre and makes it faster, less laborious to play through is a great way going forward. And if you enjoy a good deck builder, then this is a title you can't miss out on. Social Caterpillar. From 12 tiles, Social Caterpillar is the only game that promises to teach introverts like you and me how to better socialize. Do I trust a random game I just found on Steam that I'd never heard of before? Yes, completely. Now if you're looking at these visuals, you'll notice the very beautiful pixel art and just kind of unique aesthetic this game's going through. It sort of has like that CRT television look, but also a mixture of all the Amiga and DOS art. It's so engrossing and really makes me feel like I need to know what is the story here. But since this is a puzzle adventure game, you'll solve a myriad of puzzles, each having its own internal logic, but also you'll explore and talk to people. And yes, for introverts, probably the most terrifying thing in the world, but don't worry about it. This game is here to help you struggle right through it and get to the finish line of saying hi. A bit of a weird title, but an interesting one nonetheless, and one I hope people give a look. Mochio. From Zima. It sounds fast, it sounds insane, I have no idea how to talk about this title, but it is nothing if not interesting. You raise Mochio, a hamster, who will help you defeat incoming enemies and fight through a very tender, sweet, and delicious post-apocalypse. Because Mochio is a weapon of annihilation. So this title is a bit of a mix between two different genres. It is both a tower defense and also a shooter. So if you're in the mood for some madcap action that doesn't need to be thought about in depth, but is something that needs to be experienced, then how about playing a game where you level up a weird hamster-looking creature by feeding it money straight into its big beautiful mouth. Wicked Seed. Coming to us straight from Dead Right Games, this is a title that at first look, you would pass. It looks like an acid flip that is not even worth a second of your attention. But hold on, sit down. It's actually a really good survival horror RPG. that takes a lot of elements from some of the classics. So let me ask you something. Have you ever played Parasite Eve? And if that's a yes you just said back to me, then you definitely have to check out Wicked Seed, a game where you'll collect weapons, level up your character, get new gear, fight enemies who attack you at their turn, where you can either evade, block, or even parry the attack, which means once it's your turn, oh boy, unload and have fun. Well, as a game, it looks like the bare bones basic. It is actually a lot more than you would expect. Kind of reminds me of how Nightmare of the K came out a few years ago, and there was no hype for it, and it just turned out to be this amazing survival horror game. Wicked Seed, same idea here. It is definitely a title to check out if you're an RPG fan and a survival horror lover, because the way it marries these two together is something I wish we'd see more in like a bigger budget. But for a low budget game like this, it is perfect. And also, not to mention, you can get sexy outfits for the main character, if that's your thing. And let's be honest, it is. Camelot 10,000 CE. From me Z's, I've left the strangest for last. Camelot 10,000 CE is a typing game where you play a crippled cyborg who needs specific commands in order to move, attack, or just about do anything. The concept alone is interesting because it's set in a far post-apocalyptic future, but also has elements of a Fairytale, as you have been awakened to find the Grail. Typing in your commands instead of having direct control over your character, that can be a bit off-putting for people, but I love that stuff. I love putting steps between me and the movement of the character to my objective, and I kind of enjoy games adding that extra level of difficulty. Considering there's a lot of elements of horror in this title, the idea of moving around with typing, while done pretty well in Blood Typers, feels a bit more stressful in this one, where you actually want to avoid fights as much as possible instead of just running in them sword swinging. So your typing skills here become a real roadblock for your survival and requires you to get better doing that thing we were taught in school but just kind of forgot over the years because we have autocorrect. Interesting title, not the best visuals I've seen, but definitely visuals that are striking and memorable. I'd recommend checking it out if you want to play something a little bit off the beaten path. There we go! The first month of the year is done, and we have a ton of great indies to put on our wish list and hopefully one day have the time to play. Let me know what stood out for you. Are there any games on this list that you plan on getting, or did I miss any titles that came out in January that you were personally a fan of? I hope you enjoyed this format that I keep trying out. I'm literally trying to find a way where I can just talk freely, be myself on the mic, and still provide you all with a good list of games and good commentary. But before I go, thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope you have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.